engineer. I'm an information technology person, and I have a confession. I was doing my slides and I realized that I was going to put total government service 18 years. And I've been walking around here telling most of you that I'm 25. I started saying, wow, she started when she was 7? What's up with that? So I want to let you know that I'm not 25, so there's the confession. There you go. You have it. I'm not 25. So, but I have a total of 18 years service. My anniversary was last week. And I have a combination of active duty and civilian service. I heard Carol talking earlier about being 2 minorities. They used to always call me 3. I was a triple minority is what the term was. And basically I was a black woman, black, female, and I was enlisted. So that was my 3rd, so he would get that. That's why that was for him. But I'm currently pursuing a graduate degree. I know you guys know I work in IT, but I'm pursuing a degree in marital and family counseling. So that don't mean come and see me. I'm still not free. I have my master's degree in computer information systems. I have my bachelor's, and you guys can read all that, right? But Defense Acquisition Corps member since 2005. We're required as well in IT to have certifications, and I have level 2 in IT and level 2 in program management. So, let me see. My career actually began, let me go back a slide so y'all won't be reading that while I'm talking. My career began back in 1992, and I've served as a combat medical specialist. I've served as a telecommunications manager, and eventually I transitioned into IT. I've held every position that falls under the current ACID umbrella in some form or fashion. And I received my BS degree while I was on active duty, and most of it while I was pregnant with my daughter. So I was carrying my daughter during that time. And yep. I finished my, just leave it at that. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. I finished my graduate degree in 2003, right as I got out of the Army. One of my major decisions for getting out of the Army was my daughter was 2 when I made the decision. I was at a 10-year mark. I had finished my bachelor's degree. I still wanted to serve the government in some capacity, but I tell people all the time, one of the major decisions was I had an identifier that required me to deploy a lot. So I would tell people, I'm not going to the stands. Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Pakistan. I wanted to see my children grow up, so I decided, that I needed to go find another capacity to serve in. And so eventually I transitioned out of the Army. But I still work for the Army as a government employee. I transitioned right from an enlisted soldier to becoming a GS-12, where I served as assistant administrator first. Some of the challenges. Women are severely underrepresented in IT. IT is a male-dominated field where it comes with plenty of negative behaviors towards women. I'm a little different than Carol. I'm a little louder than Carol, so I'm going to go ahead and put the elephant on the table right now and say, it doesn't make, I'm not offending. I'm sure I'm not, because none of the men in the Memphis district, let me preface it with this, have ever shown me any negative connotation. But since we're talking about the challenges of women, I really feel like we need to acknowledge the fact that it still happens, but you can still overcome. All right? It's a male-dominated field. I've had situations, same as Carol, sit in the room. I'm saying, hey, why don't we do what, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like I didn't even say anything. And then next, some guy around the corner says, hey, why don't we do the same thing? That is a wonderful idea. You're thinking, oh, I just said that. So you get over that, but not really. But you keep moving on, right? You keep moving on, not only for yourself, but for the ones that's coming behind you. I was going to give this, one of the biggest challenges that I've had as a woman in my double minority after I, became a civilian, was the fact that I was called into my director's office, and he said I needed to tone down the aggression. And I was very surprised because I was using a method that I had seen a man use. And they called him a go-getter. I was very confused because I was like, how do you, I don't know what to do. So my supervisor actually had to step in and say, well, we can't call her overly aggressive if we're going to call the man the go-getter. You're going to have to come up off her, you know, and leave her alone. So actually, he helped me out with that. So, but those are some of the things that women have to deal with. And you go home and you scream and you cry or you fuss. You talk to your, if you have mentors at that time, you talk to your mentors and you just kind of work it out. But addressing this is a part of the communication and the education, and let some of these women know, some of these younger women, it won't be as bad for them because we're, Carol and me and all the other women you hear, you know, have fought some of the battles. So it'll be a little, you know, hopefully a little more tolerance, a little more acceptance to those type of behaviors. But I want to point out, because I don't want anybody leaving here calling Shelly on me, that men are not the enemy. But however, it's not just a man problem. I mean, because women have behaviors that we try to bring each other down as well. So we gotta, you know, we gotta really just accept the fact that it's just gonna be like that sometimes. Acknowledge it as a societal and a cultural issue, and understand and do our best to handle it. So change is never easy. That's the biggest thing that you have to really acknowledge, and it's just gonna have to be okay. Balance. My family, I would tell you right now and be honest with you, I think that I am severely out of balance. I work all weekend, I work every day, and my BlackBerry doesn't shut off. I mean, you know, it's just a part of that. So when you have more power, you have more responsibility. So you need to factor that into play. If you're willing to step up and you want to be promoted and make the big money, you gotta make sure that you accept the responsibility of that. There's no way around it. I can't tell Colonel Hamilton and Colonel Reichling I'm off. Nah, sir, you'll get to that. I'll get to that Monday. Hold the peace sign, right? I can't do that. He wouldn't be very happy with me. Or anybody else for that matter. I mean, I've had other people contact me over the weekend, and we just do what we need to do to get it done, get the mission done. But I do need to work on my balance. My kids are on spring break this week, so I do need to, you know, work on trying to obtain some balance and hang out with my family. Because being overworked doesn't help me focus and doesn't help me express the good ideas and be the person that I need to be at work either. So, but understand that responsibility, sacrifice, dedication, and achieving balance in a right now world is extremely hard. We all have this supernatural expectation that everything can be done right now. I call this generation, or this right now world that we're in, I call it the microwave generation. Pop it in the microwave, 2 minutes. I remember when we used to have to warm stuff up in the stove. Take you more than 2 minutes to get something warmed up, right? But now we got microwaves. Everybody wants everything right now. And the world is just moving a lot faster. When I was, the other thing I was going to say, one of my challenges, or one of my things I wanted to point out is encouragement. Many of us have paved the way. Many women before us have paved the way. And sometimes in order to get the better jobs, to move forward in IT or specifically in our field, you have to take the jobs that nobody else wants. And you have to excel well at them. Somebody's got to do it anyway. So take the job. I remember being a 12 and a 13 and having the fiscal and acquisition responsibilities of a 14. You know, but that was what made them say, oh, okay, well, let's take a look at that position and really just say, hey, let's promote her. My biggest, I guess, to do, if you will, was the position I decided to take, or the project I decided to take, was one that you guys are very familiar with. It's wireless. And I was working for a technology integration center. That's an engineering command out of Arizona, Fort Huachuca. And they needed someone to test wireless. Well, for whatever reason, nobody wanted to test wireless. Turns out that was the biggest and best thing that I could have ever done. It catapulted my career. And you see, we use wireless everywhere. You use it on your BlackBerry. You use it, you know, in this room. There are just many various different ways of using it. So that's one of the biggest things I would tell you. Currently, I'm eligible for War College and other schools that would position me. One of my goals is to become a CIO, a Chief Information Officer. And so I'm at that crossroads still. That's still my balance, and I'm still wondering. I have a daughter who is embark upon middle school, and my son is in high school, so I really have to, I'm at that crossroads. Do I go off and do the great things and become a CIO, or do I wait and pause my career and just let it coast until they get a little bit older? So that's my crossroads right now. That's the things that I think about, and that's where I am personally. So these are all decisions that you have to make at some point in your life. Do you want to make the sacrifice? Do you want to make the personal responsibility and to do that kind of work? One CIO survey stated we're still underestimated. There are 41 CIOs across the country versus 259 men CIOs. So although that number seems kind of low, it's actually higher than it's been. So we're actually making a lot of progress, and we're still doing great things. It might be a slow running, but we're still making progress. And we should be proud of the accomplishments and the things that we've acquired not only in IT, but as women in general. You know, there are a lot of powerful women in this room that do great things. And so I'm proud to be a part of that gender as well. Mentorship. Seek out people where you are trying to go. Don't wait for someone to come along and mentor you to progress your career. Go find someone that is doing what you want to do and ask them to mentor you. But beware that you will look like a part of them once you're, done with that mentorship. And Carol's laughing because she probably knows that to be true. I look at myself, and when I've mentored people, I look and I see a part of me in them. So just be proactive. Be proactive. It's your career. It's your life. Take charge of it. I would say to women, sometimes we kind of fade in the background, or we just, accept that it's okay, but just, be yourself and be proactive. I wish I had asked for mentors earlier in my life as well. Maybe I would have been further along, or I would have had more questions, but I recently, maybe in the last 5 years, have really just started to ask for mentors and talk to mentors and seek them out. Maybe I had some assumption that somebody was going to do it for me, which is why I'm telling you today to seek out that kind of help. We're not going to ever make it on our own, so we need for those people who have blazed the way. Go ahead and let them help you. Okay. Encouragement. Stay away from gossip. Avoid it at all costs. So if I'm looking around and you want this big promotion, but you stand in the hallway and what such and such did today and blah, 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 management sees that. Management knows that, and that plays into it, because we're all human still, so that plays into it. If we need to have, you need to be in a meeting where there's closed conversations, where there are quiet things that goes on, and we need to know that you're not going to leave that meeting and say, girl, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what Colonel Hamilton them doing now. We need to be able to trust you. So if we know that you're gossiping, we're not going to be able to trust you in those positions. So maintain your integrity and your professionalism by avoiding gossip at all costs. Dress appropriately. I debated on this a good little while, but I was like, do I need to say it? But absolutely, you need. Shake back there, shaking her head. Absolutely, we need to say it. Dress like you want to be recognized for your brain and for your knowledge, and not like you want to be acknowledged for what you have on. You can't have it both ways. I had this one person who I was called into the office about the way they dressed, and they were very, very intelligent, but what was overriding the knowledge was the way she was dressing. And so, you have to acknowledge that you need to maintain some professionalism in your dress, in your walk, in everything. I would say maintain your professionalism, but be yourself. You don't have to be all stuffy and, all like this, but maintain your professionalism. Colonel Hamilton is sir, Mrs. or whatever the cultural. We're kind of relaxed here in the Memphis district. So calling, Carol, you don't have to call her Miss Jones. You can call her Carol, I'm sure, right? Is that okay? Okay. I had to make sure I want you out there. But we're relaxed. But make sure you know what the culture is of the district and or wherever you are. I would say fight like a girl, and I know most of you are thinking, what in the world is she talking about? Fight like a girl means if you have men in your area, where we talked about the big elephant in the room, don't stoop to that. Don't make it okay. Don't perpetuate it. I would say stand, rise above it, stand above it, and stand against it. Do better than, you know, you've been done to, because you can call it karma, you can call it, I call it sowing and reaping. So whatever you sow into the earth, that's what you're going to reap. All right? So if somebody's doing that to you, you let the earth take care of that. And you continue to sow the things that you need to sow, so that when you reap your benefits, they'll be in your favor. All right? It takes hard work and diligence. I know you guys, we flash by my degrees because I don't really like to talk about myself, but it really took a lot of hard work. I have a lot of programming. I'm 5 credits away from having an engineering degree. I just refuse to do it because I think I might lose my common sense. Oh, come on. I'm a super minority in this room. You know, I'm IT and all these engineers. Yeah, I was like, wrap it up. I don't want to hear it anymore. But, you know, it takes a lot of hard work to get where I've gotten. It's 18 years strong. And, you know, I don't ever regret a day of it. I've had some hard days. I've had some soft days. I've had some easy days. But I've had to work hard, maintain my integrity. Don't let people influence you to do things that you're not supposed to do. Don't let them, you know, take you out of who you really are and who you aspire to be. Will you fall? Yes. Will you make mistakes? Yes. Will you want to chop people in the throat? That's the running joke on my team. Yeah, I said it on video, I know. You want to chop people in the throat? Yes, but you can't do that. You have to still be yourself and be the person that you aspire to be. All right? We can make sure you be all you can be. Remember that everyone is afforded the same opportunities, but it is what you do with those opportunities that make you who you are. All right? And although today was focused on Women's History Month, all of the aforementioned things that I talked about earlier really apply to anyone and everyone. It doesn't really matter what your gender is. All the things, you know, they apply to everyone. So just keep that in mind. Remember the things that we've talked about today. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today.
First off, a statement, that fight like a girl scares me to death. The most brutal fight I've ever seen as far as going out with 2 ladies. I use that lady term loosely. There are no rules when women fight. You can't get clawing, scratching, and biting. Okay, I got
Okay,
it.
well, I should have clarified that a little bit more. My husband talked to me about that last night. He said, you're going to have to clarify that. And so what I mean is you don't have to use a male tactic to, you know, be a lady. Use your God-given strength. I'm glad you said that, Tom. Thank you. Use your God-given ability to restore and build relationships and to communicate. We're known for those things statistically. I mean, I didn't pull out the statistics. I should have. I'm in an engineering command. But statistically, we're known for communication. We're known for building relationships, and we're known for restoring as women. So use those things to help you go forward. Those are God-given things. Those are gifts. So use those gifts to make your part of the world better.
Now, question.
Yes, sir.
A few times as you were talking, LaQuetta, you alluded to a pretty strong tension between balancing with your family, your kids, and in your career. Why do you think, in your opinion, that seems to be more of a struggle for women than for men?
Probably, that's a good question. You're going to put me on the spot, right? My personal opinion is really about the fact that we're mothers. So we feel that pull, just the same way that some men think that we don't belong in the workplace, we struggle with whether we really belong to. So we have to overcome that, and we have to think about it, especially as a mother and as a wife. There are things I go home and I'm like, I should be at their, you know, school plays, or I should be at every event. And sometimes I just can't make it. The job, when I took the job here in Memphis, I took it because I knew I wouldn't have to travel. My old job, I had to travel once a month. So it was a week out of every month I was gone. You know, and as I started to get control of it and I could delegate that, that was great. But there were some trips I simply had to go. and do, because I was the one that had to build those relationships. I was the one that had to ask for the millions of dollars. That was my responsibility. So some things you just can't delegate. So the pull becomes, because you've pushed those kids out and then we go back to work, what, after 6 to 8 weeks after we've had our children? That's a tough thing. You've carried a child for inside of you for 9 months, and then you have to let go. You know, that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing. So I believe that the struggle really is about just us making sure that we're doing the right thing in every area of our life, and really wanting to be, me personally, I want my family to be proud of me and the things that I've accomplished, and so that's my struggle with it.
Personally, I think God did a good thing about letting women be the childbearing, because if it was up to men, the race would be extinct.
My husband would agree with you. He says it every day. Girl, I'm glad you were the one. It wouldn't be me. Do I have any more questions? Remember to dream, aspire, and achieve. And you can read the quote on your own, but I want to thank you for allowing me to speak today. Thank you.